Hi all, it's Barb coming to my craft studio. Today I was going to do a little vlog and talk to you about my reading challenge. I might add a little extra chit chat at the end, but I'll be right back. Okay, for my June reading challenge, I read Nora Roberts' Blue Dahlia. I believe I used this one, I forgot to bring up my sheets, for the Nora Roberts my group reading challenge that I created. I have a Nora Roberts JD Robb fans Facebook group, which I will try to remember to add that link in the bottom. I've been trying to do better about that. And I also used it for my summer rainbow challenge, Blue Dahlia. When that challenge, the creator said you just had to have like a cover with like a cover with blue on it or whatever color. But I'm trying to take it a step further and have the color or a shade of that color in the title. So we'll see how I do with that. This one I just read because I thought it sounded interesting. It's a young adult dystopia type novel, kind of in the vein of Hunger Games or Divergent, that type of book. I enjoyed it. Sometimes I shy away from those ones. I think I needed a young adult. I think for one of my reading challenges, I needed that type of young adult book to meet a prompt. So I decided that one sounded interesting, so I decided to go ahead and read it. And then Nora Roberts' Black Rose. This was for the color black. The two Nora Roberts books were rereads for me. I've read that entire, it's a trilogy. It's the In the Garden trilogy. Book 1 is Blue Dahlia. Book 2 is Black Rose. Book 3 I haven't reread yet. It's Red Lily. I'm going to try to read that one sometime this month maybe. The Taste of Ginger. I'm going to just let you see that because Manzi Shah. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. I am awful at pronunciation on words that I've never heard pronounced before. I'll be honest. But this one was for, I think it was for the book voyage one. I want to say it was South Asia. I'm not positive, but it was for whatever the location prompt was for this month for that one. This one, The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead. This was kind of based upon, I was going to say a true story, but that's not really necessarily true. Parts of it were based upon a true story, but the actual characters themselves probably were not accurate. But the boys, it was almost like a juvenile detention center type thing, was a real place, and a lot of atrocities happened there. This book kind of used fictional characters to tell that story of what occurred there. So some of the event, some of the things that happened were actually real, but not in the manner of which they were told, if that makes any sense. That one was for my 1960s prompt for the Decades Challenge. Lost Roses. This one I just read because I have read the entire series by this woman. It's the Faraday family it was like a trilogy. So at least so far, there's been 3 stories. Though the only thing that really connects them is a different member of the Faraday family. The first one I read was Lilac Girls, which had Caroline Faraday in it. The second one was Sunflower Sisters. I think had her grandmother in it, and this one had her mother in it. So this one might have actually been the second book, and Sunflower Sisters was the last one. I read them out of order. It didn't really matter. The events themselves aren't connected, just the characters have connections to each other. Because I think each book went further back in history, so I think that this one was actually the second book, not the... Because Lilac Girls took place during World War II. This one took place during World War I. And Sunflower Sisters took place during the Civil War. So this was Jennifer Weiner's Mrs. Everything. This one was for the Lifetime of Reading Challenge. The prompt for June was throughout a lifetime. So this one started with her when she was young and went through adulthood. So then we get into my meals. We are still enjoying our every plate meal. I'm done talking about the reading challenge, but I'm working on, of course, my July reads. But I was going to talk to you a little bit about how things are going, because everything's kind of been an upheaval for me. I had pretty much made the decision that crafting was going to have to go because hubby just wasn't helping in the way that I needed him to help. Finally, we kind of talked, and I said, okay, I'll go with this. I will put off making a permanent decision. Otherwise, I wouldn't have ordered the stuff that I ordered from HSM. But I said, but you have to do more than just tell me you're going to help. And you have to put in more effort than just the help, what I myself am capable of doing. I need you to do the stuff that I'm not capable of doing. So I'm hoping that it will happen. And I did. We went for a walk. A lot of times we do our talking when we go on walks. It's better because neither one of us. And it's usually me that gets angry sometimes when we're talking and he's not getting my point. But I stay calmer if we're out in public when we talk about it. Not that we have knockdown dragouts. We don't. We just... And like as I explained to him, it's not really him that's causing my anger. It's my frustration with myself of not being able to do things. And I said, and I haven't been... The fatigue and the pain have been increasing again, which probably I think is stressing me out a little bit because I'm thinking I don't want to go back to how I was at the beginning of this illness when getting out of bed was a challenge. But I said, so I just kind of said, so realize when I get angry like that, most of it probably has nothing to do with you. You're just unfortunately the person here to bear the brunt of it. Which I know I shouldn't do that to him, but it's also not good for me to bottle it up. So I think it helps that I explain to him that it isn't really him I'm angry at, it's the situation. Which for the most part is beyond either of ours control. But I did, on our walk, I just said to him, I said, if I could save enough money to buy a couple of recliners, would you be okay with me making the living room and dining room my craft studio? I said, you don't have to answer today. You can think about it and get back to me. But he pretty much almost immediately said, I don't have a problem with that. I said it's probably at least a year out because I've got to finish saving money and buying all the storage for the garage. And we started on that, and I realized after we we're finishing up that for that day, because I can only buy a shelf or 2 unit at a time. I said, oh, I meant to take a before picture because I wanted to be able to kind of, I should go out and take a picture now, even though it looks so much better now than it did when we started. But I said, I wanted to kind of document, how it looked before as to after. But I guess I'm just going to have to do it from, okay, this is after the first kind of rearranging. We did more that first day than I was intending to do, because I was thinking I was going to just do it myself and just do a little bit. He came out and helped, and so I ended up doing way more than what I intended to do in one day, which I paid for that the next day. I told him, I said, that's the problem with this illness. Sometimes I think I can do that. I feel pretty good today. I can do all that. But if I do more, kind of like, I really sat down and I explained the spoon theory to him, which I think did help immensely, which I had that in a video, and I just threw that whole video out. Basically, 10 spoons is what I say I get a day of energy, and different activities cost me a different amount of spoons or a different amount of energy. But and I said, and that scale isn't always the same. I said, I'm just going to use a good day for me, what it costs. I said, getting out of bed costs me a spoon. All I've done is get out of bed, and I've already lost, one of my 10 spoons. So getting dressed is going to cost me another one. If I want to take a shower that day, it's going to cost me another one. Doing some mild cleaning is going to cost me at least 1, if not 2 spoons. But I tell him, and then making lunch is going to cost another spoon. I said, okay, you can see we've got to about noon, and I've already lost half my spoons. I said, and if I'm having a bad day, if I'm having more pain or I'm more fatigued, it's going to cost more spoons for everything. I said, so you can see why if I have to clean the house really good, I'm not going to have the energy to craft. And he's like, no, I really want you to craft. He said that to me yesterday. We were kind of talking again. He says, it makes you happy. And I said, yeah. I said, I'll be honest, I don't want to live with me if I don't craft. Because I've been in a really bad mood the last few weeks, and part of it was just thinking that I was going to have to give this up. I'm like, I don't want to live with me if I'm not crafting. I'll be honest. I need something that brings me some joy. But I did tell him too. I said, and with the spoons, some days I can borrow a few spoons from the next day, but that's not a good situation either, because then say I have to borrow 2 or 3 spoons from the next day, well then I've only got 7 or 8 things I can do at most. And if some things cost more than 1 spoon, well then it's one thing I like about crafting is for the most part it probably only costs me a spoon or 2. Even for a spoon for a shorter session, a couple maybe for another session. But I said, sometimes if I'm just doing something where I'm sitting down and doing something where I don't have to get up and down a lot, it doesn't really take that much for me it doesn't cost me energy, but I have to have the energy to do it. I know that kind of sounds contradictory towards each other, but if I'm at a 0 energy level, the last thing I want to do is come in and create. So even though sometimes if I can just come in and sit on those days, sometimes if I come in here on a day where I know I really can't craft, it makes me feel better. But if I know I'm never going to be able to craft, no. The last thing I want to see then is my craft studio, which that's what I kind of told them. I said, if I'm not going to craft, I don't even have the heart to go in there. I'll be honest. I just don't. But he said that he was okay with me taking over the craft studio, the living room, dining room for my thing. The next thing I kind of talked to him about is which room would he want to be his man cave and which room should be our TV room where we put the recliners and the entertainment center and all that, which is probably where a lot of my decor would end up going. But my thought on that is this would be his man cave, which means we're going to have to, well, I think we're probably going to have to repaint all 3 rooms. I'm going to say 3 rooms because the living room, dining room have always been painted the same color. But if that's going to be my craft studio, I want it the color that's in here. I want it this blue color because it's my happy color. I just really like that color, so I want my studio that color. So that's something I'll have to do, is repaint that. And I think then if he takes this as his room, it'll go a darker blue, which I think he would also like this room for. He's got one piece of slat wall up. I have 3 places where slat wall is, but mine are double slat wall. He just did 1 2x4 section. I did 2 of those in each place, so mine's a 4x4 section. So he has 1 2x4 section in his man cave right now. I have 3 4x4 sections in my. I wouldn't have that if I went downstairs, and I wouldn't put any up, but I'd be okay without it. There is one built-in bookcase in the dining room that I could put like my stamp sets and maybe my craft binders on, and a few other things on. I wouldn't mind eventually down the road maybe trying to replace some of the cubes with just a bookcase or 2, but right now I know that here, unless sometime down the road we're able to remodel the kitchen and bath, which probably is a never going to happen situation, but if we were, I'd like to make the back porch part of the kitchen if that's possible. And again, even if it's possible, that may not be possible, but that way I could get, because in my craft room I'm going to have I have one Calyx unit that has my Instant Pots and slow cooker and other things like that on, so those would probably have to stay on that wall. The only possibility is if I could move that out to the back porch. I'm not sure there's room to put all 3 cube units that I want. Well, maybe if I stood 2 of them upright, but the one would block part of the window, but they're blocked now from all the decorations. And maybe I could do it and just maybe have like a 4 cube unit sitting there that I could sit whatever one I'm currently using on, instead of having them all just out there all the time, and just have them sit on that out on the back porch, and then just bring in whichever one I'm currently using. That's a possibility. I won't know if that'll work until after I finish the garage, which is another reason it's not possible. But for right now, I'm saving for all those shelving units, and I had to add in some slat wall because we need to add some slat wall out in the garage to hang, because he was just putting nails in the plywood, the what do you call them, the studs, I guess. That's all there is. We don't have finished walls in there. That's all it is. It's just the stud type thing. And hanging them up there, I said, I want to put one more shelf there for I'll call it garage stuff for lack of anything else to call it. That wouldn't be for my decor. The 2 walls are going to be decor. And we put one of the shelving units we put up the other day was actually for garage stuff. I said, I think I could use a second one. I said, I'm considering getting a 3rd one and just leave it sitting outside. They're just like a really heavy duty plastic. Find some storage that would be okay to be outdoors all the time, which I know they make, and keep some of the gardening stuff just on that, because I'm not worried about anybody walking off with it, so that then there'd be less stuff that would have to be in the garage. But I'm not sure that'll happen, but that's kind of my thought right now. I did discover I'm going to have room for one less than I thought. I was trying to measure, and I had to do it in sections, and I just was off. I said, so I was hoping to put 4 on one wall and 4 on the other, and then one extra one kind of towards the front, because it wouldn't get in the way of the car, so that I could have a total of 3 for Christmas, because I have a lot of Christmas stuff. I said I'm probably still going to have to get rid of stuff, but one of them would just be tree stuff. And then 2 for regular decorations. I have a lot of village pieces and stuff. That's one thing, if I make the downstairs my craft studio, I'm going to naturally probably have less Christmas stuff that I can put out, so that'll help me cut back on the amount that I have. I said that's one thing I'm trying to do as I do each holiday, each season. I shouldn't call it holiday because I do it by season more than holiday. Is I'm trying to cut back how much I have. Tall order for me. I love decorating for the seasons, but that's kind of what I'm trying to do. But I said I know I'm going to lose one for that, so I'm going to have to cut back further than I was intending, but I'm okay with that. Or I will be okay with that. Maybe okay with it's not the right term. I'm reconciled to that. How's that? It's just, but I said I've gotten rid of so much stuff in the last probably year, and I still feel like we have way too much. But if I do that, end up making that my craft studio, we will naturally I will naturally be getting rid of more things as I move down there, and I might even have to take a look more at some of my crafting stuff, even though I don't really want to get rid of any of my crafting stuff. My crafting stuff brings me joy. I don't want to get rid of things that bring me joy. I'd rather get rid of the items I have in the house that aren't bringing me joy. And that's one thing I have to really think about with the kitchen stuff, is if we're going to stay doing every plate, do I need as many tools and stuff that I have? I don't want to get rid of everything, because like when I go to my mother-in-law's crock pot, possibly an Instant Pot meal would be really easy to do. And I do use the Instant Pot for making things that I might use for lunch or breakfast, which I need to do one of those tonight because my bananas are almost gone. They're going bad. But that's kind of where I'm standing on. That's how I did on my reading challenge, and that's kind of where I'm standing on my other stuff. I am, for the first time in a while, feeling much better. I'd start to feel better, and then I'd fall in, but I hadn't got to this level of feeling better about being able to continue with the crafting. And like I told him, I said I don't want to give it up. I don't, but I'm not seeing a way around it. That's when we had our talk, and just I said, and I even feel guilty for asking you to do more, because he's cleaning his. You have to understand, he's willing to help. It's not it. It's just he's already cleaning, helping me here. I just need a higher level of his input, but he's also cleaning his mother's house. So he's taking care of 2 places. He mows our daughter's lawn, and people will say, oh, but the reason he mows our daughter's lawn is because they pay him, so it gives him a little extra spending cash. So he doesn't want to give that up, which I don't blame him. It's also good exercise for him. So hey, thankfully he doesn't have to mow his mother's yard. My nephew's doing that, so that's at least one thing that he doesn't have to do. And somebody comes out and plows in the winter her driveway, which is a good thing. I really wouldn't want hubby doing that. He does plow. He does do the shoveling or plowing, because we do have a snow blower. He does the snow blowing at our daughter's house, but again, they pay him for that. And actually, for the mowing, not only do they pay him for that, but he uses their mower in our yard, because ours died a while back, and Jessica's like, you can just use mine, you know, rather than going out and buying another one. She goes, you're mowing my yard too. And she goes, and I'll still pay you too. But he provides the gas, so it all kind of levels out, especially right now with as high as gas prices are. But that's kind of where I'm at. I haven't really done many videos lately, but I will try to get my haul video uploaded pretty quick, and then this one really is going to be long. Sorry about that. Hope you don't mind. But as I've said before, if you don't like chatty videos, just skip the vlogs. Thanks for joining me. I'll catch you next time.